Alright, hi everyone. I'm Bambi with Two Paws Up, the head dog trainer here. Today's live video is going to be about puppy basics, so I'm pretty much going to be covering the different stages with puppies up to 16 weeks. And then I'll cover something about potty training and some different things like that. I think I'm going to do some more lives on puppies because there's a lot to know whenever you're talking about puppies. There's a lot of different info. So I think that I'm going to do a separate puppy socialization live, a separate one for different things like that. So this is just a very basic of puppies, some things that you need to know about their growing up and things like that. I'm going to talk about a bit about myself for a second, just in case anybody missed the lives from before. I've been in the pet industry for 4 years now, since I was 17 years old. I started out as a dog daycare, as a little kennel tech, and I kind of worked my way up and learned a lot about canines, a lot about cats too, at the store I worked at. I also worked at a nutrition store for animals, learned a lot about that, so I have quite a bit of a range of knowledge about animals, dogs and cats, but definitely dogs the most. I also went to school to be a dog trainer at the Star Mark Academy for Professional Dog Trainers. I got my certification as a canine behavior and training specialist. That was just this summer, so I've got a lot under my belt there. So let's go ahead and get started. So with puppy basics, like I said, I'm just going to be doing the different stages and some different things like that. I will go over more puppy stuff in different lives. And so with their stages, the first one is going to be the neonatal stage, and that's 0 to 2 weeks old. When they're with their mother still, they're blind and deaf, they need their moms. The next one is transitional period. That one is from 2 to 4 weeks old, so that's when puppies start to open their eyes, they gain all their senses, their ears start working. And there is, during this time, if you have a puppy that is the only one in the litter, they're called singletons. And during this time, it's really important to get them into a litter if possible, because with singleton dogs, and you guys might have one of your own that you don't even realize, they develop very socially awkward skills whenever interacting with their dogs, and they never learn bite inhibition, which is when they control how hard they bite because they don't understand. So with those kind of dogs, there is a lot of behavioral issues that can come with it because they just did not learn how to be a dog with their litter. The next stage would be the first socialization stage. This is 3 to 6 weeks. They're playing with their litters more, they're learning how to be a dog. They're getting more curiosity at this stage too, so they're starting to go, explore outside of their little their little box area. They're starting to get bite inhibition, like I just mentioned, by playing with their litter mates. So whenever their litter mate, if they bite them too hard and their litter mate screams, they know, okay, that was too hard, I'm going to bite softer next time. Now, the next stage is the most critical stage for puppies with learning. That's the second socialization stage. That is from 6 to 16 weeks of, sorry, I think my flash went off, there it goes. It is from 6 to 16 weeks of age. That one is absolutely crucial to the rest of their lives because the stuff that they learn during this stage will follow them throughout their life. Usually people get puppies around 7 to 8 weeks of age. That's whenever they can safely leave their litter. So as soon as you bring that puppy home, you're going to have to immediately start training. Using all the time that you can during this 6 to 16 week period is really going to benefit you in the long run. The next stage, and this is during that 6 to 16 weeks as well, is their fear impact period. That's from 8 to 11 weeks. Now, if you have had your puppy a couple weeks and you notice that he's starting to be afraid of things that he was not afraid of, if he sees a black trash bag on the sidewalk and he screams at it, or you open your vacuum cleaner up and he's never reacted to that before, but now he is, that's because of this fear impact period. They start getting afraid of every single thing that they might not have been afraid of before. And it does differ with puppies. Some do it a lot worse, some get it a lot better. And during this stage, you just really have to be patient with them. I would not recommend forcing your puppy into any situation that they're terrified of, because you might end up actually scaring them and kind of letting that phobia follow them around their whole life. From 12 to 16 weeks of age, this is when they start really kind of growing up out of that second socialization stage. This is when they're going to start acting like butts. They're going to challenge your authority, they're going to challenge other dog in the house authority, and they're going to start teething, they're going to start chewing on all your furniture, things like that. So during this stage is also very crucial to train them and make sure that you nip these things in the butt, you know, like chewing on furniture, being a butthead to the dog in the house or to you. And, you know, helping your dog out throughout those stages will, like I said, benefit them for the rest of their lives. I do want to talk a little about littermate syndrome. That's a little term that we use whenever you're getting two puppies from the same litter. Now, a lot of people do this and don't realize it. Sometimes breeders or shelters or rescues will even suggest that they get two puppies because they don't really realize the consequences that can have. But whenever you get two puppies from the same litter who, you know, have been with each other since they were born and are going to be together for the rest of their lives, there can be some big consequences that come with that. Now, if you do prevent it, you know, by separating them out, making sure that you train them one by one, you can prevent this, but it can be kind of difficult and time consuming. So what happens with littermate syndrome is they actually are more fearful of other things, other dogs, other people, different stimuli, because they honestly just focus on each other. What's going to happen with this is they're going to bond with each other more, and you're going to be like the third wheel of the group, because they're going to be wanting to play with each other all the time. They know each other, they have this relationship already, and they're not going to care what you're doing or what you're trying to say to them. You know, they might play with you and they'll be like, okay, that's the person that feeds us, that's the one that takes us outside, but this is my sister, this is my brother, so this is my bro right here. Like, this is my person, my dog, my animal. And you're just going to be put on the back burner, essentially. So with, you know, to prevent that, separating them as much as you can, you know, doing separate play sessions with them, separate training sessions with them is definitely going to help you out there. Because due to that, they also can be less obedient. And, you know, if one of the dogs starts running off and you're trying to call them, the littermate's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go follow my sibling. And then the sibling that you're calling is going to be like, well, my littermate's here, so why would I listen to you? I don't want to listen to you. And another thing that can happen with this is actually your puppies can be aggressive towards each other, especially whenever you get two of the same gender. Females especially will do that a lot, is when they start to get older and they've been with each other the whole time, one of them will, you know, want to be the dominant one, and the other one might not want to take that, or might trigger the dominant one to just attack at a random. So that can happen a lot. I have seen two boxer puppies that, you know, that I've worked with before, and they were fine for a while, and one of them was way more dominant than the other, and the dominant one just incessantly would attack the submissive one all the time. Just little things would trigger her and she would attack the other one, and it took a long time and a lot of training to get that to be okay. And, you know, if you already have litter mates and they're already showing littermate syndrome signs, you know, there is still a way to help you out. There is still a way to get that checked and get that, you know, adjusted. So let's go into potty training. Now, with potty training, it is a process and it can take a long time. I know, you know, when I first got my dog, my first dog, she was 3 months old when I got her, and I didn't know really anything at the time. Or she was 3 months old, yeah. I didn't know really anything about it at the time, so I made a lot of mistakes, especially with potty training, and it took me months to get her crate trained and potty trained. It was a nightmare. So if you're having troubles with crate training or potty training your puppy, I totally understand where you're coming from, and there are a lot of mistakes that we don't realize we can make with that. A good rule whenever you're, you know, have a puppy and you're wondering how long they can hold their bladder is it's about 1 hour every month. So if you have a three-month-old puppy, you know, after they drink some water, they can hold their bladder for about 3 hours. But it is best to take them out before that 3 hour mark, so that way they can have a schedule and they can have more opportunity to be successful with going potty outside. Change my page here. Now, a lot of mistakes that people make whenever whenever you're talking about potty training is they want to catch their dog in the act, or they want to, I know some people rub their faces, you know, into the mess they made inside. But unfortunately, with catching them in the act and getting mad at them for going inside, or, you know, rubbing their faces in, that kind of thing, you actually potentially make the dog scared to go in front of you, not necessarily to go inside. So what could happen there, actually this didn't happen with my puppy, because we would be upset whenever she would go inside, and I never rubbed her face in it or anything, but we would be upset and be like, oh, well, don't do that, and then she'd be like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna go walk into your roommate's room and do my business in there whenever you're not looking, because I'm not supposed to do it in front of you. So I had to change and adjust that. And a lot of times puppies will do that, before they even realize, oh, I have to go outside. So the best way to counteract that and not to have your puppy think that they can't go in front of you is with reward history. Now, what reward history is that's kind of whenever you're building this history of good things happening whenever they do a certain action. So what you can do is whenever you take your puppy outside, as soon as they go potty, as soon as they pee or poop, you give them a treat, you praise them, whatever they like to do, play with the toy, just make it a really fun and exciting experience for them, so that way they start to realize, okay, so when I go outside in this spot, and when I do it in front of my owner, both of those things are really good because I get food, or I get praise, or I get to play with my toy for a little bit, and it's great out there. So with building that reward history, they're going to be way more inclined to go outside because they know that good stuff happens there, and nothing really happens when they go inside. Let's see. And you're really going to want to put them on a tight schedule too, because whenever you schedule it out, the puppies get used to doing it at certain times. And dogs are masters at patterns. That's why your dog might, at 5 o'clock every day, your dog decides, hey, it's time for me to eat, so I'm going to go to my bowl and sit and wait for you to do that. And puppies, puppies the same way. They have patterns, so they might think, okay, so every 2 hours we go outside. It's been 2 hours, so it's time for me to go outside, so let's go. So schedules are really, really important there as well. And the last thing to help out with your potty training is crate training. Now, it is super hard for some, for some puppies especially, to be crate trained because they want to be with their owners at all times. They don't want to be alone. They're not used to being alone, especially after you just get them out of their litter. But it is actually very crucial to crate train your dog, especially puppies. Because what happens with crate training is puppies and dogs in general, they don't want to go to the bathroom when they sleep or where they are comfortable. So if you have them in a crate where they don't have enough room to pee in a corner and go lay in this corner, if they only have enough room to stand up, turn around and lay down, then they're not going to want to pee in there. They're not going to want to poop in there because they don't want to lay in it because that's gross. And they know it's gross too. So they're going to be a lot more inclined to hold it until it's time to go outside. And like I said, you're still going to have to follow that 1 hour rule. Just because your 3-month-old puppy is in a crate doesn't mean they can hold it for 4 or 5 hours. They're still only going to be able to hold it for about 3 hours. So you're still going to want to take them out. But that will definitely help with not going inside rather than you just leaving them out to wander around, kind of go when they feel like it, because they're not going to understand that that's, not bad or not good yet. But they're not going to want to go in their crate where they sleep and eat because that's nasty. So with crate training, I will say a good rule with that is, if your puppy screams the whole time during the night or whenever you put them in the crate, you just have to really build a reward history like I mentioned earlier with that. So like I said, reward history is whenever something good consistently happens for doing a certain behavior or being in a certain place, that kind of thing. So with crate training, the best thing to do, open the door, throw some food, throw some toys in there, let your puppy go in, let them eat all that food, don't close the door on them, and let them come back out. And you do that a few times, you start building that reward history with being in there, then you can start closing the door for longer and longer periods of time. And that's really going to help out with your crate training as well. And I might do another live more in depth on crate training, just because that deals with all dogs, not just puppies. But I think that is everything I had for puppy basics. Like I said, I think I'm going to do some more lives on puppy related stuff because there is a lot to go over with puppies and I don't want to be talking for 2 hours and, boring everybody. But I might do maybe next week a live on puppy imprinting and socialization because those things are very important with that 6 to 16 week period, like I said. And so I might be able to give you guys some more info on how to properly do that so your dog has the most success with the world. All right, it was great to see all of you. I had a few people that I recognized come in. So have a good night, and thank you for joining us.